Okay, so here's what I want. A dance party recovering Sunday morning E-Women Network on your feet. Welcome for my girlfriend, my sister friend, the smart, the talented, the savvy, amazing Linda Clemons.
Oh, you all look so good. Give yourself a big round of applause. Have a seat, have a seat. First of all, thank you, Sandra, for that wonderful introduction. I want to congratulate the entire staff of eWomen for a wonderful, wonderful conference. I'm excited to be here. I'm so excited. You know, when I look at you, I feel like it's joy overflowing. Joy overflowing. Good to see my friend, my brother George, and all my supporters out here in the audience. Many of you that partied last night, it's good to see that you got up this morning. Yeah. Now, here's what's so interesting. Prior to coming here, my staff got together, and they call themselves Clementines and Clemendors. Cute. Clementines and Clemendors. And they said, Linda, what are you going to teach? And I said, I'm in a group of powerful, dynamic women with a few emails mixed in, but these are powerful women. And I said, I'm thinking something that's going to help their business go to the next level. And one of my staff members says, are you going to teach them the 21 things they need to know, those body cues to let the man know that he's into you? I said, they don't need to know that. These are powerful women. Are you going to teach them those things, those special strategies and techniques, that the one thing that a man must have, ladies, there's one thing that he must have. If not, he'll leave you and go to another woman, and it's not sex. Are you going to teach them that? Oh, they don't need to know that. They're powerful. They've got that. Or are you going to teach them the 10 things that would have the opposite sex, or perhaps their clients, find them totally irresistible? Oh, well, they already know that. So I'm going to share with you today some things that you need to know that's going to help you continue to serve, sell, and soar. Is that good? So I need to make sure that you're with me. So we're going to have a little interactive exercise here. This is what I want you to do. I'm going to say a powerful word, and I want you to look at the person sitting beside you and say, she's talking about you. Then I'll say another word that I want you to point to yourself and say, she's talking about me. Okay, here it goes. Courageous. She's talking about you. Powerful. Dynamic. Ferocious. Destined. Moving on purpose. And this last one here, listen very carefully. This is the thing that would have every man fall at your feet, and women around the world simply adore you. Now point at yourself and says, ooh, she's talking about me. So once again, I'm excited to be here. How many of you right now, if you can learn one or two things that can take your sales career to the next level, how many of you are interested in that? Show of hands. Okay. How many of you throughout the conference, you've learned a lot of things that you're going to take back home and you're going to put into play? Okay. Now write this down. Easiest sales lesson in the world. Know your business, but most importantly, you want to know theirs. What does that mean? Know everything that you tell, but don't necessarily tell everything that you know. Know your business and your product and your service inside and out, and know whatever you need to know and everything you need to know about your prospect, so that whatever their needs are or wherever the pain is, you can address it. Does that make sense? Very, very critical. Now, there is something that we send off when we are doing our sales presentations. If you are uneasy, if you are uncomfortable about rejection, if you are uncomfortable, if someone begins to challenge your product or services, there is something that happens to your nonverbal communication. You begin to get smaller. and not realize it. Because whatever you think about, you bring about. So if you're understanding your customer to the point that you begin to sense where they hurt, where the disconnect is, and quite often you'll hear where the gap, the space, or the bridge for you to cross over is critical. Get or find that need, you will miss the opportunity. Does that make sense? Okay, now here's what I want you to think about. How many women in the room you are sitting with your customer, your client, your prospect, and you have them just right there. They're close, then all of a sudden they go cold. Has it ever happened? Show of hands. Okay? How many of you have them, their hands are on the table, they're leaning forward, they're listening to every word, and all of a sudden they pull back? Show of hands. And you begin to ask, is it me? And then you begin to push a little bit heavy. How many of you have commission breath when you know it's the end of the month and you need just one more sale and you have commission breath, and all of a sudden, instead of looking like a client, they begin to look like a pork chop to you? Who knows what I'm talking about? They look like a pork chop to you, and you are hungry and become a little desperate. They feel it and sense that. So here's what I need just for a couple minutes here. I need 3 individuals that I do not know. Come up here. Lady in the blue, the red. Come on, if I do not know you. Okay. Don't run. Don't run very quickly. Just these 3 right here. That's okay. You're right up on the stage here. Really quickly, space out really quickly. Okay? So space out a little bit, all right? And I'm just going to ask you just one simple question. As a matter of fact, I need a man. Come over here, sir. Oh, he just raised his hand. I got this. Come on up here. Okay, and I want you to stand beside this lady really quickly, right over here. Really quickly. All right, okay, towards the audience. Face towards the audience. Okay, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, I want you to freeze, okay? Now, here's what I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions here. First of all, I'm gonna ask permission to touch. When you touch someone in a business encounter, safe touches on the elbow. Men in the room, be very careful when you're touching women, particularly in corporate America. You're gonna deal with HR issues, but here's what happens. We have a tendency to get friendly. Sir, can you take your hand and put it on her shoulder? Okay, now here's what happens. Ladies, how many of you work in corporate America and someone's done that to you before and you go, ooh? Who's done that before? Like, ooh, when someone does that. You know, unless it was Brad Pitt or Denzel Washington, you know, understand it. But someone does that to you. The reason why women get uncomfortable because the shoulder in nonverbal represents the breast. If you hold your hand there, open palm, 4 to 6 seconds or longer, it makes the woman uncomfortable because you're getting into her proximity, into her space that you have not earned the right to do so. Okay? Don't touch that woman no more. All right, calm down. Okay, now sir, I want you to face towards the audience. Turn all the way around, okay? Right. Now, okay, stand right there. Now, I'm gonna ask you a question here. Your first name?
Chris.
Okay, Chris, let me ask you this. I'm gonna ask permission to touch you. I don't know you. I've not met you before. I think one of the things that's important to you, and you tell me if I'm correct or not, that having a system or structure is very critical to you in doing business, to the point that it can, I don't wanna say be excessive, but it's important to you to have order. Am I correct?
You're correct.
Okay, now I know you're a tad bit nervous because of, by the way, you're standing. Number 1, you are shifting because you're shifting away. By the way, we move closer to the things that we like and away from things that we don't like or we are fearful of. So you see somebody you like, you move close to them. You want to talk to them. If they make you uncomfortable, you move back. Make sense? All right? So here's what happens. Now she's getting nervous, okay? That's okay. I don't bite, I just nibble, all right? It's all right. So here's what happens. It's very critical for you to have a system and things in order. But here's what happens. If you are working with the team that does not have that, you can lose a little patience because it's very, am I right?
You're right, yes.
Now, reason why, and I'll tell you later on how I know that, and you're good at organizing, you're good at structure, but sometimes those that care about you, they may say, let up a little bit. Yeah. Okay, all right, okay, hold tight. And, okay, my permission touch, Tracy?
Of course.
Okay, Tracy, I don't know if anyone's ever told you or anything, but girlfriend, sometimes you out there.
Oh, no one's ever told me that.
You just out there. It's just, I mean, you wake up in the morning, there's a party in your mind. There's a party everywhere. You just a little bit out there, and and so what I want you to do, and I think it was a Covey that said, keep the main thing, which is the main thing, the main thing. Sometimes you have to make a concentrated effort to focus. Do you understand what I'm talking about? You have to make a concentrated effort to focus. Now listen, why is this critical? Why is this critical regarding the sales process? So what happens if she's speaking to someone who's very animated, who's very creative, and she's doing her sales process, her sales system, and there's a certain order. If the customer says, oh, I'm so excited, can you tell me about this part of the presentation? She may get a little impatient because there's a way she wants to go. Now here's what happens. If you want to sell Betty or Fred or Steve what they need, you better see things the way they see. Does that make sense? You better roll with them. Say to your partner, you better roll with them. All right, got to get on this. So here's what's happening. She's out there having a good time, and one of the things that you would have to work on, we've never met before, am I correct? Okay, one of the things we have to work on is order and structure and a...
Yeah, I need her.
You two need to work, okay? So here's what happens. What if she's working with someone who is a digital, someone who is an analytical? When I say digital, a digital, you can tell them all day long, oh, how does it make you feel? Can you imagine doing this? How this can change the world? Digital wants to see the statistics. They want to see the data. Give me the facts. So someone like this, if she's working with an analytical or digital, they may get on her last reserve nerve. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Because she may be thinking, just go with it, dude. Just go with it. Critical, okay? Now, little sweet pea, what is your name?
Ashley.
Okay, Ashley, okay, I want you to turn towards the audience, okay? And we're going to talk about a couple things here. First of all, what I appreciate about you, you have a very sensitive heart. The second thing is, sometimes there are things that you want to say, Ashley, that you hold in. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
I do.
Right. Okay, and look, okay, watch the body. Look how she's looking at me like, where are you going with this in front of these people in this audience? They're telling all my business. And so, this is what she's looking at me, okay? So now watch the body language. You remember I said when they like you, they lean towards. When they get a little nervous, they lean. Which way is she leaning? She wants to get off the stage. She wants to get off the stage. Why in the heck I volunteer? I thought I was going to win a prize or something. You know, that's why I came up there. I didn't win anything else. All right, okay. So one of the things that I want that's very critical for you, because by nature you are an introvert. What's very critical for you is that there are things that you have to say and ideas that you have, but you internalize them a lot. You think them over and over and over and over again. You also have friends that they tell you their problems. They share with you. And sometimes you don't want to hear it all. All right, I'll just move right along here. Just move right on along right here. All right. Okay, now, Dr. Gary, what I love about you, Dr. Gary, you have an interesting kind of energy. Now, I want you to face the audience, okay? Now, when I say an interesting kind of energy, it's your purpose to want to be able to help and to serve and to be able to support many people. Sometimes you want to do it to the extent that maybe they may not be ready for it. You want to get them there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Yes, I do, okay. Because you want to get them there, and sometimes you may look at them and want to do one of these things, but that's okay, because you want to get them farther than they can see themselves, but yet they're not ready. So sometimes, which is very, very critical, you are a very good analytical thinker, but there's a crazy side that comes out at night. Okay. Now some of you going, ooh, I'm liking that. No, now listen. Here's what's happening. There is an expressive side of you that should be shared, so that you don't come across too reserved in your presentations. People need to see the human side of you rather than the intellectual all the time. Now, why is that critical? Why is that critical? Because what happens if he is talking to a customer and that customer has made a connection,
but they feel that they may not be at a certain level. So if you do not, psychology says, if you give a little piece of yourself, let people know that you are not perfect, then the person that's sitting in front of you would give up a little bit of themselves. So what happens, many of us may be losing the sale or the opportunity because our posture and our position is that I walk on water. I've never been through the challenges, and people don't want you to see them naked in fear that you may judge them. Make sense? Show hands. Make sense? Okay, so one of the...
If I had a buck for every time the word getting authenticity in my presentations came up the last 2 months, I wouldn't need to be here.
I understand that. And see, we've never met, right? You want to give me that buck? Just tease it. Okay, so now, a couple things, ladies, couple things that I want you to watch very quickly. One of the things that men have a tendency to do when they are doing their presentations and they feel confident, men take up real estate. You're doing good at taking up real estate. Now, when a woman holds her hand like this, look at this. You see that? Sometimes you'll see Madonna do this in a concert. She'll take her thumb, go like this. This is what we call in nonverbal communication pacifiers. Pacifiers when someone's looking at us that may judge us or we feel a little threatened. So you want to put your hands to the side. You want to stand up straight. Okay, have level-headed. And then take up a little bit more real estate. See, take up real estate. So when you men take up real estate. They take up real estate. Women get smaller. They get smaller. So when you get smaller, put your feet together. Put your feet together. So if someone challenges your idea or challenges your point of view, you can be a pushover. Okay, now try to push me a little bit. So if I'm standing solid in my point of view and someone says, well, you know, Linda, I don't like what you just said. I don't think this should work. Apparently you have a reason for feeling that way. Women have a tendency to... You see? Let's give them all a big round of applause. Thank you. Never met for, thank you so much. You know, it is so critical. There are some workshops that I used to do on, and I'm going to bring them back. It's called Chocolate After Midnight. And what this is, it allows men and women, men are in a separate room, women are in a separate room, and we teach them how to communicate with each other non-verbally. You can send messages to another individual non-verbally without even saying a word. See, the non-verbal existed before our verbal existed. Now, it was so interesting. Just the other day, there was a gentleman outside in the hall, and he made a comment. He said, I've never been to a conference, hopefully he's in this room, where women are so attentive. A woman came up to me, and there was a string hanging from my jacket, and she offered to cut it off, and the gentleman said, I've never been to a conference where another man has done that before. Never done that before. And so, fellas, so that you know, we communicate differently. Men communicate differently. Now, one of my staff members who is a male, he says, Linda, please tell the women that when they communicate to men, we want you to get straight to the point. Am I right, fellas? The fellas are going, the few little guys, woo-woo, they want you to get straight to the point. So let me give you an example. Watch this. So let's say a woman comes home from work. She's a businesswoman. She gets home earlier, a little bit earlier than her husband. She gets home, she takes care of the kids, helps them with their homework, prepares dinner. Then all of a sudden, the little boy, say Billy, he lets the dog out. The dog, let's call him Fifi. So Fifi runs outside, okay? And the next thing you know, boom, he gets hit by a truck. Some of us going, oh. So the husband comes home from work. So here's what the husband says, baby, how was your day? Remember, men just get to the point. How was your day? Oh, here's what happened. I got off from work. They're going to lay off George. I don't know what I'm going to do. Then I get home, fix the kids. Billy is having trouble in school. So is Mandy. And next thing you know, after they ate their dinner, then Billy opened the door and Fifi ran out. Fifi ran out, got hit by a truck. When the guy wants you to simply say, tell me the dog is dead. Just tell me the dog is dead. Men understand women, we like to share in stories. We like to attach the emotion. Ladies, you know that when you're selling to a man and you begin to go into the emotional realm, do you notice that all of a sudden they go to the part of their brain called the amygdala where they freeze? Because they don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to handle it. So the one guy who was amazed that the woman would offer to do that, because women can do that, fellas. There's something you need to know. Women can do that. We can go into the ladies' room. If a woman's wearing a dress and the dress is just a zipper down just a little bit, she can ask another woman, sister girl, can you help me out? Am I right, ladies? But fellas, how many of you can go into the men's room and say, Joe, can you help me with my zipper? You can't do it. You can't do it. So it's a certain kind of language. Ladies, you need to know when you're talking to men, they are stimulated by the visual. We also work in all areas in sales. We work in all areas of communication, from the visual to the auditory to the kinesthetic, digital. This is not new to you, but men are stimulated by the visual. Fellas, you need to know that ladies are stimulated by the auditory. So watch this. Let's say a beautiful woman walks into the room in addition to the beautiful women already in this room. Ladies, what do the fellas do when they see a beautiful woman? What do they do with their head? Come on, ladies, show them what they do. Show them the whiplash move. Come on, show it to them. Show it to them. That's why, fellas, you get in trouble, because the lady says, I saw you looking at her. Do you want her? Well, go home with her then, because you overreact with the nonverbal. Same thing happens in the sales process. Fellas will do the same thing. Now watch this. Let's say a handsome gentleman walks into the room. In addition to the handsome men that are in the room, women have a signal that we use universally. Globally, we know it. We're trained. It's innate. If we see a good-looking man that walks in the room, fellas, watch it, because you just may miss this. A woman could look at another woman, go like this. She could take the signal and send it to another woman like this. She could throw the signal all the way in the back. And you've missed it, fellas. Sorry, ladies, I told one of the secrets. I'm sorry, I told one of the secrets. All right, so write this down. Give me a couple of techniques for you to help in your sales presentation, because my time is short, and maybe next time I'm invited back, maybe I'll teach you the 21 techniques and cues to have him sew into you. Maybe we can do that. Maybe we can have some fun with that. Write the word tap with an extra P. T as in Tom, A as in Apple, P as in Paul, P as in Paul. Tap. First of all, in your sales presentations, you must be truthful. You must be truthful, because whatever the mind thinks, it is displayed on the face. We call them in nonverbal communication micro expressions. And it only takes a millisecond to come out. How do you know that? Have you ever been talking about someone, having a discussion? Maybe the discussion was not as positive, but you thought the person was nowhere to be seen, and they walk in the room. What do? That same expression comes across on the table when the customer will say to you, is this the best opportunity for me? Is this the best price you can give me? Is this the best deal that you can give me? So you want to be truthful in your presentation, because if you tell them what the product won't do, then they'll believe you when you tell them what it will do. You must be authentic, coming from your true core and your true place. You must be present. And that's the other first P is present. You want to be an active listener. You want to be so present that you can actually look at the customer, look deep into their eye, that you can actually get your heartbeat on the same cadence with that person. And you want to show the proof. So whatever it is that you say, you want to show the proof. How many ladies in the room have seen on that television commercial the genie bra? You ever seen that genie bra? Now watch the infomercials. Now fellas, if you've seen it too, that's okay. But watch on the commercial what they do. A woman will come out. Can we talk? Because we're sisters. Can we talk? Okay, good. What happens, they'll come out in the commercial. Women would come out and, and their sisters all the way down to their knees. Next thing you know, they go back into a little room, a little area, put on the genie bra and go bing, because they showed the before and the what? After. If you can help your customers see the before and where they are now and what's happening in the present, and show them the future, what it could be, then you are closer to closing the sale. Write this down. If they can see it in their mind, they can have it in their hand. But they have to see it in their mind first in order to feel it, in order to get it. They have to see it, because once they see it in their mind, they begin to create the story and the outcome. How many of you ever been on a timeshare presentation before? Ooh, I thought some of you looked familiar. I've been in the industry for well over 30 years, and timeshare is one of the toughest sales that are out there, because the reason why it's so tough, people come in for one thing. What is that? The free gift. They walk in for the free gift, so they automatically come in shut down. And if they come in with their spouse, of course, if you're married, we like to see the husband and wife together. They come in with a pre-conversation already taken place. The conversation goes something like this. Now, look, George, we're going to go in there, sit on that 90-minute presentation, and we ain't buying nothing. Don't look interested. Don't start asking them a bunch of questions. If I kick you once, that's yes. If I kick you twice, that's no. Now, when they start asking us to buy, let's tell them we got 21 kids in college and our kitten just had puppies. We ain't buying nothing. How many of you familiar with that? I knew some of you looked familiar. So to be able to be in an industry and one of the top trainers in the world to sell something that someone wasn't looking for, it's just like going into the doctor's office. You going in feeling good and didn't know that you're hurting until the doctor discovers something. So what we did, we didn't sell timeshare. We sold a legacy. We didn't sell timeshare. We sold families vacationing together and couples vacationing together that stay together. That's what we sold. So you want to make sure that your product or service sells to the pain and to the victory as to where your customer wants to go. Make sense? Okay, do me a favor. Write down your biggest objection. Your biggest objection that your customer gives you. You know, we women are hot. For some of us, it just comes in flashes. Some of you know what I mean. They got that on tape. Okay? Who wants to share to the mic with their biggest objection? Who wants to share what their biggest objection? Step to the mic really quickly. I want to hear what your biggest objection is. Okay, she said her biggest objection is money. How many of you have that? Now, do you know people have money to buy what they want when they want it bad enough? Here's what happens. When your objection is money, the challenge that you're having, you have not built the value. You have not built the value high enough and attached the emotion to it. Because when the emotion is high enough, then price is not an issue. Money's not an issue. Okay? Step to the mic real quick. Can't hear her? Okay, come up here real quick.
I'm a photographer, and the biggest objection is I need to lose 20 pounds.
Okay, now come here real quick. Come up here real quick. Come here real quick. Okay, are you getting scared of me already? Oh my gosh. Okay, so she said she's a photographer, and their biggest objection is that they need to lose 20 pounds. What do you say to them?
I can make you look the best you've ever looked. It's going to be you, but it's going to be like you on the best day.
Okay, so let me ask you this. She said, I can make you look the best that you've ever looked. One of the things you want to ask them when someone says, I need to lose 20 pounds, you simply want to ask them, can you elaborate? Tell me more. Just simply tell me more. Well, I want to lose 20 pounds because I want to be able to get into this particular dress. I want to get in this particular suit. Sometimes we jump ahead of the game and not know what the real issue is. Make sense? Okay, the other thing is, what happens, now watch this, and this is very critical in your presentation. In your presentation, you should have a system. You should have a goal of becoming the Disney of what you do and McDonald'size it, meaning having a system. So now I'm going to be your customer, and watch, here's what I'm going to say to you, and I want you to validate that you heard me. Well, you know what? I would love to get my pictures taken. Is it Alina? And I heard you were very good. But Alina, right now, before I get my pictures taken, I need to lose some weight. I need to lose about 20 pounds because I want to be the best that I want to be, and I want the pictures to project who I really am. And I just don't feel that I'm at my best.
Can you tell me more about it?
Okay, I want you to validate you just heard what I said.
I understand that. I have the same issues sometimes, but can you tell me a little bit more about yourself?
Okay. Did you hear what's the possibilities could be? Did she hear me? I wanted to, do you think she heard me? Okay, so what she could have said, so Linda, what I hear you saying is this. Right now, you have specific goals in your weight where you want to be. Though you feel good about yourself, there's a couple of things that you want to update. and lose a few pounds, so perhaps get in that outfit and perhaps have your family or friends show you the best, show your best so that they can feel good. But right now, you're a little hesitant because you haven't lost the weight. Let me ask you this. When do you think that will take place? When will you think that would take place? Or you can simply say to her, how about taking the pictures now to showing the transition from where you are now to where you plan to be? The customers want to know that you heard them. Make sense? Thank you. Thank you. Now I want you to stand up. Everybody stand up really quickly. And I think I've got a few minutes if someone could let me know how much time I have left, all right? So here's what I want you to do to show you how you think can change your mindset. I want you to pick a partner, and just really simple. I just want you to be very reserved, very professional, shake their hand and say, I'm pleased to meet you. Okay? Now, here's the second step I want you to do. I want you to look at that same person now as if they're your friend. Say, hey, what's happening? Now do this for me. Now I want you to greet that person as if they just gave you $1 million. Some of you don't want to let go. So how did your mindset change that quickly? Look what happened in just a split second. Give that person a high five and say, you don't have a clue who you're sitting next to. Have a seat, have a seat, have a seat. So in closing, and I've just got a few minutes here, have we learned a couple of things? Okay, I need, gentlemen, please come back up here again. And I want to show you something regarding the handshake, ladies. It's very critical. Because lots of times in business, we want to be careful how we shake hands, all right? And we said we were going to do this, and you see in the information about the workshop. When you shake hands, it's web to web, okay? Web to web. Open your hands, web to web, all right? Some women have a tendency to do this. Can you hold this for me? You ever see this? Okay. Okay, when you do the hand hug, that is personal. It's like a personal hug. And it sends off a negative vibe, and the reason why, because it's known, politicians are known for doing this, the hand hug. Okay, let's say someone tries to do a power move on you. Let's say you're working with someone, man or woman, that does a power move. Power move's a hand on top, goes like this. Okay, see his hand on top right like that? You see, has this ever happened to you, the power move? This is what you want to do, ladies. When someone tries to do a power move, Scott, do a power move on it. Yes, I'm pleased to meet you. You see how I leveled it out? You see that just that quickly. So do not let them do a power move on you. Now, watch politicians. They want to get the last tap. So most people will go like this. Good to see you. Tap me on the shoulder. Good to see you. Talk to you later next time. They try to get the last tap. Men do that in the power struggle. So watch that. Yes, yes, yes. Different presidents do that. They do that in the power struggle. Thank you, Scott. Thank you. You were giving me that interesting look. So I simply want to say to you, life is so short. There are 31,548 seconds in a year. You've only got a minute, 60 seconds in it. Forced up on you. You didn't seek it. You didn't choose it. Lost if you lose it. Hurt if you abuse it. It's only a tiny little minute. The rest of your future is in it. I thank you.